Very nice. Now, set me down easy and go pick up something that won't blow up your head if you make it mad.
I like to trim hedges.
That's nice. Creep.
Hey, what's going on, folks? Forest Green here. Welcome. Today, I have an interesting video to display to you folks. Today, I'll be power scaling Rasputin, the main protagonist of Psychonauts. Because of the coronavirus, I've had nothing really much to do. I'm not very busy, so I figured I'd make this video and give you guys a power scaling video. So let's begin. Let's get into the mind of Rasputin. So, starting off, attack potency wise, Raz should easily be around city level plus. This includes inside and outside of someone's mind, as he carries all his skills and abilities inside people's minds and outside. But there is a difference, as stated by Melia, that inside the mind you aren't as powerful as you would be outside the mind. So it's similar to the Matrix, but it's like the opposite, which is pretty cool. Also, tell me what you guys think of the mic. I increased the quality, so it should be a lot better, because I know my old mic was just garbage. Anyway, Raz, he was able to defeat a holographic form of Mr. Oleander, who was disguised as Kochamara, as he states that he will not destroy the city unless the lungfish give in to his demands and give him a parade, I believe. So going off this statement alone, we can get Raz to city level plus, because Raz was able to defeat this weakened version of Coach Oleander, who was a projection inside the mind of the lungfish. And again, this is more of a low ball, of course, because if we go off Melia's statement, Coach Oleander should be a lot stronger outside of the mind compared to being inside the mind. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the attack potency. I've got a scan on the screen. I took a print screen so you guys can look at the scan. So statement wise, we can get Raz to city level plus, and yeah, this pretty much just concludes the attack potency. Same with the durability, city level plus. Not really much to cover on the durability. So as for speed, Raz should easily have relativistic plus reaction speed. At first I had Raz's speed at subrel, but if we go off Melia's statement about being weaker in the mind than compared to being outside of the mind, then yeah, you could argue subrel. But anyway, relativistic speed, my reasonings behind it is because Raz was able to dodge Coach Oleander's psychic laser beam from a distance. Coach Oleander was also able to react to both Melia and Sasha's psychic laser beams at close range, and he was able to react and create his PSI shield, which was able to protect him from those attacks. Now, I looked at Versus Wiki's like speed, because again, I tried to use Versus Wiki just to kind of gauge what they have a level at a character, but a lot of it was just lowball and garbage and downplay. Now, Coach Oleander, he was unable to block Ford's attack because he was off guard and he didn't see Ford coming. But yes, relativistic plus, or if you want a low ball, you can get it to subrel. So as for hacks and skills, this is where Raz shines the brightest. Being a psychonaut, he possesses many psychic hacks. He can read people's minds and thoughts, as shown where he kept reading Lily's thoughts when she wanted to make out with him. He can use his psychic PSI powers, such as the marksmanship mind attack, which is the laser beam that he conjures up psychic energy and fires it at his opponent by focusing it and concentrating it. Let's see what else. And also another thing which is cool about these the marksmanship, it can also ricochet off enemies. So if it hits someone or something or an item or a object, It can bounce off that object and hit anyone nearby as well. He can also use telekinesis and lift up objects in the air and throw them. He can use it on himself as well, so he can throw himself at people or lift up different objects or people themselves using his mind alone. He can also use his PSI shield to block all forms of attacks, as shown when he was able to protect himself and Lily from the building that fell on top of them, and the shield tanked it with no difficulty. He can use pyrokinesis, where he focuses his mind and sets people and objects on fire. He can turn invisible. He can use levitation and create a ball, so he can use it in very creative ways to kind of leap in the air higher, float, and of course levitate. He can also use confusion bombs, so PSI confusion bombs. So what they do is, if it hits someone on contact or if they get caught in the fog, it causes a hallucinogenic effect, making a person unstable and lose control and of course they become they begin to hallucinate and lose their senses. So their senses basically get scrambled. He can also use clairvoyance, and what clairvoyance does, it allows Raz to see through people's eyes and see what they can see. He can also use it on cameras and video surveillance cameras, which is cool. So if he's in a room and say for example there was a camera, like a recording surveillance camera, he can use clairvoyance and see what the camera sees, the footage that it picks up, which is really cool. A nice little cool hack. He can create a giant hand made of psychic energy and attack with it. He can perform the psychic palm slam. So it's like a ground pound, but he uses his he forms a giant psychic hand and slaps it down like a palm. So when he jumps in mid-air and creates a giant psychic hand and lands it on the ground, it crushes anyone that gets in the way, and he can also amplify the potency of it. He's very acrobatic, as he grew up in the circus and his father with his father, and can perform many acrobatic moves. As for items, he carries his goggles, a psychic portal where he can also place on someone's head and enter their mind. Intelligence, he's shown to be very resourceful in difficult situations and has the right mindset in any kind of difficult situation to come on top. He was also able to learn his psychic abilities the fastest, where it would take normal psychonauts many years in training and experience to do so. Feats, he became the youngest psychonaut at the age of 10, when it would take someone years to develop the skills and the psychic powers, and of course the merit and the distinction to become one. He survived and passed Coach Oleander's mental military war boot camp, which majority of the other kids failed. He fixed the mental state of the characters in the mental asylum who were going through a lot of traumatic events in their mind. He defeated the dark thoughts that were conjured and mixed in his mind with his father and the butcher from Coach Oleander's mind. He defeated 4 Mexican wrestlers. One of them had a strong resistance to psychic and mind hacks attacks, and Raz, despite this, and obviously Raz being very fluent in these type of backgrounds, he was still able to defeat the Mexican wrestler, which is pretty impressive. He was also able to defeat the Den Mother in Pitch Black by using clairvoyance to look for her eyes so he could see in the dark and see what she could see, so he knew where to attack and knew where to go. He can casually lift 140 pounds with his legs. He can still move and use some of his psychic abilities when his brain is absent from his body, as shown in his abilities. So as some of his abilities are limited due to him lacking a body, because there was a part where he got basically this type of chemical in his face which makes you sneeze out your brain, and your body goes on autopilot. And during that situation, Raz was still able to be very resourceful in the situation. Despite lacking a body, he could still use some of his psychic abilities, even though some of them he wasn't able to use because of the lack of his body. So he could still use telekinesis, he could still turn invisible, he could create a psychic shield to protect himself. I want to do some more research because I want to find out if the psychic shield can protect you from mental attacks, because I want to pitch the argument it can, but I want more evidence. But to stay on the safe side, it easily protects you from physical attacks. So yes folks, spinner chip for Rasputin from Psychonauts. He's an awesome character, very fun game. There is a sequel coming up very soon, Psychonauts 2. I will play that game, and if there's any feats that come through that game, I will definitely power scale, because Rasputin and of course Psychonauts is a really good game, very fun. But yes folks, see you guys next time. Peace.